Hello, I'll be doing SLO1-2. I'll be doing problem 17 from homework assignment section 1.1. And the problem I'll be doing is reading the speedometer readings for a vehicle at a 4-second intervals given a table, which I'll show later, and estimate the distance traveled by the vehicle during the 24-second period using the left endpoint approximation, right endpoint approximation, and those two are with 6 rectangles, and finding the midpoint approximation with 3 rectangles. Okay, let's begin. Is it in? About there. Can't tell. More or less. Something like that. Cool. Okay, as you can see, I have already written out the problem, which is very nice. Okay, so first, let's go figure out the left Riemann sum with 6 rectangles. The reason why I put 6 here is to show that there's 6 rectangles. And what we want to do is pretty much, since we're given that the intervals are pretty much in 4 seconds each time, that means we can find the subintervals, or we could break this up into 6 subintervals, which those 6 subintervals would reflect the amount of rectangles. So we can make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which then that would give us pretty much each subinterval, which that means each subinterval is 4. So intervals, which there are, is equal to 4, since between each one there's 4 seconds between each gap, and every single one, that means between how many subintervals there are is 1, or how many there are is creates 6 rectangles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and now to calculate it, we the left endpoint approximation, or the sum of it all, or technically we could call it the sum, since we're actually given all the values. We don't need to actually estimate any of them, since we're given everything. We just got to multiply by the height, which in this case would be reflecting the values that we given below the table, which would be right around the bottom half of the table. Okay, so which will be what is it, 4? So let me write L6 equals to 4, which is a subinterval, times, if we're doing left-hand Riemann sum, we got to go from the left Riemann sum, left Riemann sum. We got to take the left side from this side, so it'll be 0, 8, 27, 48, 61, 49. Those are the values that we need to use since there's 6. If we add 43, then that'll make it 7, which we do not want. That'll be 7 rectangles, which we do not want. So it'll be 0 plus 8 plus 27 plus 48 plus 61 plus 59. And this would give us 4 times, everything adds up, 203, which then this would equal to 812, and the units are in feet, because we're trying to find what's it called, the area of, or the pretty much the distance traveled, which is 812 feet. Okay, so now to find the right hand, or the right Riemann sum, it's pretty much, we're given the same interval, or subinterval, same subinterval. However, instead of using 0, we're going to include 43. So pretty much we're going to take everything from this side and on, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 rectangle, or 6 values that we need to use. So it'll be 4 times 8 plus 27 plus, 48 plus 61 plus 59 plus 43 right? 8, 27, 48, 61, 59, 43. This will give us 4 times everything. Add this all up to find the sum, and that'll be 246. And that will give us 984 feet. So if we were to take from the right-hand side to find the sum of it, we will get 984 feet travel, or the distance that they travel in 24-second period. And now, lastly, we want to use the midpoint of each. We want to find the midpoint Riemann sum, which would be, we want to find now the subinterval. Since it's not 6 anymore, it's 3. We want to find the subinterval. So subintervals, which they have changed now from 0 to 8. And see, 0 to 8, and 8 to 16, and 16 to 24. So let's just finish this off. 8 to 16, and 16 to 24. Because then this is pretty much split into 3. If you think about it, it's like 3 rectangles. Which makes it, and the midpoint is the middle, pretty much the middle of each interval, which would be, midpoints are 4, 12, and what is it? 20. Yes, it's pretty much the midpoint. Or if we look at from the table side, it is 4. It's in between 0 and 8, which is 4. In between 8 and 16, 12, and 16, 24 is 20. So it's pretty much the middle of each interval, pretty much, that we're given. And now we multiply by the height, which is these values, or the middle line, which would be where at t is equal to 4, you get 8, t is equal to 12, you get 48, and t is equal to 20, you get 59. So, the width, yeah, which then the width, I forgot here, what is it? Which is equal to delta x is equal to 8, because there's 8 between each one. Now, we got to multiply the change of x, which is 8, or this interval, or rectangle size, which multiply by the values at these times, 4, 12, and 20, which would give us midpoint Riemann sum of 3 rectangles equals 2 at 8, the change of x, times the velocity at 4, which would be 8, and then the velocity at 12 is 48, plus the velocity at 20 is 59, which then we are equal to 8 times 56 plus 59 is 115. Multiply that together, you get 920 feet. So these are the 3 sums that we get.